What's up, everybody? So, I want to do a review of Sonic Forces. I also want to state real quick that will be my first actual review, sorta. But I also want to state that I will probably never use Mixer again to capture footage because they block certain scenes, as you'll see as I go through this review, and that's just kind of annoying. I wish games would stop doing that. If you don't want to, like, because they block scenes because of spoilers. They don't want certain scenes being shown. Honestly, if you don't want a spoiler, because this is one thing that a pet peeve of mine. When I see people online crying and complaining about like Star Wars or stuff like that, if you don't want spoilers, don't click on the flipping video. If you see a new Star Wars trailer, if you see a picture of something, don't click on it. You don't. I mean, even if you see a picture of something, you don't have to click on it to put reference to it. You know, I had a picture of in Shantae, the final boss in Shantae. You didn't know that was the final boss or not. That could have been first form anything. And I had people sending me comments and messages saying, "Dude, take this down. This is spoiling the game for me." How the F does it spoil the game? You haven't even played it yet. Because I had it. I had the game in early access. I mean, you don't know when that takes place in the game. I can take a picture of anything and say final boss. You don't know that. Unless you click on it. Same for Sonic Forces. If you don't want a scene spoiled, don't click the freaking video. But anyway, they'll keep doing it. I'll have to get around it using capture cards and all that good stuff. But anyway, on to the review. By far, I want to start off with how the game looks in presentation. The game is beautiful. This is probably one of the best looking Sonic games I've ever seen. Yeah, this is the little scene where it's blocking the cutscene where your OC character meets Sonic. It'll get back on in a second. But anyway, this is by far one of the most beautiful Sonic games I've ever played in a long time. And I'm trying to think back, God, it's been a while. I mean, all Sonic games look good to an extent, but this one is just beautiful. The stages, the enemies and stuff, while they're bland, they look great. And I'm playing on the Xbox One X. In 60 frames in near 4K, the game is just freaking beautiful. You're flying to the death egg zone. This video does it no justice because it's not capturing the game in what I'm seeing on my 4K TV. It is a beautiful game. The character models look great, the stages look great, and it all runs beautiful in 60 frames. The flames, the water, everything. The only thing that kind of gets off is you can tell the dub is one of those Japanese things where the characters' mouths keep moving and their mouths do not match the words coming out pretty much on the screen. But it doesn't take away from the game for me. It's just one of those things you've learned to come to terms with after years of watching anime and things like that, and subs and all that good stuff. But the game is beautiful. And then next I'm going to move on to the soundtrack. I'm trying to do the pros first. The soundtrack is beautiful, as usual. No Sonic game that I know of, honestly, even going back to like Labyrinth and stuff like that, most Sonic games have pretty great soundtracks. I can't think of one game, looking back on it, that really has a bad soundtrack. Not all tracks are just 100 out of 10. Wait, 10 out of 10. I don't know where the heck 100 out of 10 came from. Not all tracks are going to be 100 out of 10 just perfect. But in this game, the music's great. It's like '06. Not every song is amazing, but the music's awesome. You can tell they put real effort into this soundtrack. And I know you'll have people complaining saying, I've seen some complaints saying where it's synthesized and this doesn't sound great. If you think that, make your own soundtrack and put it to the game. If you think you can do better, I think the people who spent time putting this soundtrack together, they spent time on it, and by far, I've listened and I literally own every Sonic soundtrack made to date except, I'm looking right now, which one? I'm missing Sonic the Hedgehog 3 because they haven't released it, and like things they haven't released, and I believe Sonic Heroes, because I lost it in high school, are like the only soundtracks I don't have. But I can say for a fact, not being biased because I actually listen to all the music nearly on a daily basis, that this soundtrack is just beautiful. And I'm looking forward to the actual soundtracks to ship out, because I'm gonna listen to it, I'm gonna upload it, and it's gonna be beautiful. So yeah, soundtracks a definite plus in this game. Another thing, the OC characters, while they don't actually talk, they just kind of make little sounds like Sonic says, "Oh, you came to save me," and the character's like, you know. Think not the Grand Priest, the little guy from Dragon Ball Super, Zeno, not Zeno, whatever, yeah, Zeno, yeah, Zeno. The little purple guy, the god of everything, pretty much. Think when he makes those little kid sounds he makes, grunts like that, but with the character voice you pick. The options you can set up for your characters are actually pretty sweet, I got mine with like Jet Set radio glasses and Persona outfit. And it's kind of fun. I would not mind DLC with extra costume packs from other Sonic titles, Customization, you can do color, you can change the, male, female, the shoes. I do wish it was a little more in depth. You can see that this was their first time, of course, doing this in a Sonic game. I would have liked more depth to it, like, say, you can get in Phantasy Star where you can literally choose height, weight, all that kind of stuff like that. I would have liked that, but, for a first try, it's pretty sweet. And, of course, the characters, the OC, they use weapons. They can home dash to an extent, but basically they use weapons. And they are very overpowered. I mean, you can just rip through enemies with the weapons they use. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just literally you just rip through enemies. So it's pretty fun. And like I said, it's fun to have an OC character finally in the game. Ever since I was little, I've been following Sonic since its start back in 1991. 1991 when it first came to the States, My first system was a Sega Genesis. My first game was Sonic the Hedgehog. My only game growing up for a long time was the Sonic series on Genesis. I didn't have a ton of games. Literally, Sonic, Earthworm Jim, the Busby games were literally the only games, besides a football game here or there for my dad, because he liked to play them. Those are the only games I owned on Sega Genesis, honestly. If a friend didn't come over and bring his games. I didn't own a lot of games. So I loved Sonic growing up. And I've always wanted an OC to play with Sonic, run around with Sonic, just go on this grand adventure as my own Sonic character with my favorite hero growing up. And this game lets me do that, and it's awesome for it. I wish the Avatar could do more stuff, I wish it was I would have liked it if he had his own game. If the game was more focused on just him and not classic and modern Sonic, that would be pretty sweet. I would have liked that. But, for what it is, it's fun, honestly. Like I said, he controls relatively well. Modern Sonic controls relatively well. And now we're going to get to classic Sonic. We're going to get to a few cons. Why classic Sonic is in this game, I don't really know. If I had to make a guess, and more than likely it's true, it's because Sega of Japan, the ones who, do most modern games now, I think they're getting... sorry. I know they're trying, but they're getting mixed signals. Because they think when people say they want more classic Sonic, usually the American fan base, finger quote, because Japan seems to like this game. They seem to think when we say classic, that means we want him in 3D games. No. Classic, leave classic in just Mania. If you want to make a 2-hour Sonic game or a fan game, leave Mania, that's Mania. It's a fan game, it's a 2-hour game, you don't have to shoehorn classic in everything in the future, But yet again, he's in this game, we can't do anything about it. But, that's Sega for you. But anyway, like I was saying, of all the characters, he controls relatively bad. You know, I can get through stages as him, but it's a pain. You know, if it's just a straight path and some loop-de-loops, he does well. But when you get to pits and things like that, it can become hard. Also, hitting enemies as him is kind of hard. Besides that, he's an okay character, but he really has no point in this game. Both from what I've seen in story, and that's pretty much it. He doesn't really belong in this game. But he's still decent to play as. So, yeah, there's that. The next thing I want to say is the controls overall are pretty bad. You know, I'm a huge Sonic fan, and I will admit its faults when it's there. You know, the controls are bad. They're just bad. And me saying that, unlike some reviewers out there, I'm not going to let that take away from the game. Like, I'm not going to rank the game a 5 out of 10 because the controls are bad. You know, that's just stupid logic, you know. And there are some fans out there who have, since the start, wanted this game to do bad, you know. It's no lie about that. And that's one thing that upsets me, you know. Not that I can't give a Sonic game a bad review, you know. Like I said, I'll admit that the controls in this game suck. But there are people who wanted this game to do bad from the start, and they come out when it comes out like, oh, see, look, all these other reviewers who played it for 2 hours think it's horrible and stuff like this, you know. Yeah, but if you read the reviews, most everybody I've seen said the game is beautiful, they loved it, but the controls and short levels are why they took 5 points away, basically. You know, that's stupid. I can list games back in my past I've played that have gotten good reviews that have sometimes crappy controls, you know. Thinking back, you know, RE4 at times had bad controls, but yet it was shoehorned as this amazing game, you know. And it is an amazing game. I'm just saying there are times in certain games that do good that controls are just, you die from dumb things. Now, that's not to say, now, back on point, Sonic Forces, while fun, I will admit the controls are just bad. I have missed many jumps, I have hit things, I've fallen in pits, I've not been able to hit bosses, I've not been able to dodge bosses because the controls are just sloppy. You know, as you'll see in this Infinite fight, there are times when I'm trying to do things where I can't hit something because the game the controls are just bad. And one reason for that is because Sonic is so fast in this game. I mean, literally, he's so fast, it's hard to control him. You know, it's like '06 all over again. But not as bad as '06. But the controls are just bad, almost. Let me rephrase that. It's not so much the controls are bad, it's just hard to control Sonic. You know, making precision timing jumps and, you know, twists is hard in this game. Honestly, it's hard. And I've had many times the screen would just pop up, try again. You know, I remember this one time I was trying to get this one red ring. I died like 4 times trying to get it because you have to jump back and forth between platforms. And I was going so freaking fast, I couldn't make it. And even if I did make it, you cannot stop like old Sonic games. Like Sonic Adventure, if I missed a turn, I could stop myself, turn around, go back, and get the thing. In Sonic Forces, it's nearly impossible to stop yourself if you miss something. You'll just have to replay the stage. If you miss a red ring, if you miss a certain jump, Sonic cannot stop and turn around easily. I mean, if he can, you're lucky he can. But it's like they have it set that he's going to go straight the entire time. Like, you have to know what you want going into it. But besides that, you know, I like the game, you know. I think my favorite reviewer so far who has reviewed this game is Jim from Jim Impressions, or yeah, Jim Sterling, how you say his name. That's how you say his name. I believe his review is the best because he came out at the start saying that he wasn't on a bandwagon, and from what he played, he enjoyed it. You know, he wasn't one of these Sonic classic fans that never shut up about Sonic Mania, that never start trying to compare the 3D games to Sonic Mania. I mean, I've seen so many reviews today about, this isn't Sonic Mania. I mean, if they can do classic Sonic great in this game, why can't they in 3D? Well, for one reason, you for lack of better words, you idiots, it's like saying, why doesn't classic Mario play like 3D Mario? because they're two freaking different things, you idiots. I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but one reason is because 3D classic Sonic is not flipping 2D Sonic. He's not a freaking sprite. You know, I'm sorry. It's just a dumb complaint usually, and I just wish people would stop comparing them to that. You know. But anyway, and then you'll see reviews saying this: how can they make Mania and then make this? You know, one thing Sega's fault was trying to release 2 games in 1 year. It was just known. It was known going in Mania was going to get better reviews, and people would compare it to Forces, saying this is better, and how come you couldn't have kept it like this? You know, that's their own fault right there. They shouldn't have done that. At the same time, though, people need to stop comparing the two of them. You know, I admit Mania is fun. I love Mania. I like Forces. You know, in both games, people act like Mania is just godsend that people still play till their early death or whatever. You know, I played Mania. I beat Mania in a week. I got every, medal. I've got every Chaos Emerald. I beat the game. You know, all characters. Where's the game now? I haven't played it in so long that it's gone back into my PlayStation library. You know, if you don't play a game in so long, it leaves your title screen and goes into the library. And that's where my Sonic Mania went. Because when I beat it, I was done. I was bored. And like, oh, well, there's somebody, there's one guy, he's on the Sonic Stadium. He's like, I put 200 hours into the game. Doing what? Speed runs? That's it? There ain't nothing else in the game. He's like, I've been finding secret paths and stuff. If you take 200 hours to find every path in that game, either you suck or you just have a lot of time in your hands. Not saying that the game is bad. Again, let me say that Sonic Mania is a great game. But if you're going to tout that you put 200 hours into a game you can beat in less than Sonic Mania, okay, honestly, 4 hours at best. 4 hours it has long it takes to beat that game. And me saying that, that's with getting all the emeralds, and that's with getting nearly, if not more than 3/4 of the blue balls, as I call it, medallions. Yeah, 4 hours to do all that stuff. And to say you put 200 hours into it, either you don't have any other games or you're just really, really bored. Like I said, let me say it again, because I know some people out there will get a stick in their butt. Sonic Mania is a great game. I love Taxman for making it. But to say you put 200 hours into it and you tout that as some kind of gold medal across your chest, well, I'm happy for you, I mean, Lord Almighty, it took me 200 hours to beat Persona 5, and it has 1,000 more times the replay value Mania ever had, But still, Mania is not to be compared with the 3D games. That's what I'm saying, And that being said, so this may make you less angry for people who like Mania a lot. Sonic Forces should not be this short. A 3D Sonic game should not be beat in 3 hours. That's dumb. What happened to my old, Sonic Adventure game, But even then, thinking back on it, you can beat that game in less than 3 hours if you just rush through it. It seems like Sega has a hard time making not just a good 3D Sonic game, because like I said, this game is fun. It's not perfect, it's not amazing, it's great to good, it's what it is to me, But it seems they have a hard time understanding how to play Sonic into a 3D game, Mario has it a little easier because he's not fast, he's just, average speed, And it's not as hard to take a plumber like that, put him into his own 3D world and let him play. Sonic, his main purpose is going fast, and platforming, it's hard to place him into a game and do that and keep the longevity of the game, And one of the main glowing restraints of Sonic is the fan base, I'm sorry this is going to be a little rant, because I'm hitting close to 20 minutes now, I'm sorry. But one of the rants I want to say, the Sonic fan base is so inconsistent, is so annoying, and it's just so frustrating that you want to literally take a keyboard and smack every person on both sides of the aisle, even myself sometimes, because they hate everything and they think all their ideas are right, and they get mad when somebody has a different opinion than them on both sides of the fence, It's like people coming out like you can go on the Sonic Stadium right now. And they're pointing out like, oh, Metacritic has a 55. You see, this game sucks, The only thing is, they don't want to talk about the reviews that are getting, I've seen PlayStation Lifestyle gave it an 8 out of 10. Famitsu gave it, I believe, like, a 36 out of 40? Even though the reviews do kind of do that. And I've seen some gamers give it 4s. I've seen Jim say he enjoyed it. See, they don't want to talk about those people. And if they do, they say, well, how come he didn't point out that this and this didn't work out? Or why did he review this? See, they don't do that. But when they see a negative review, they come out and say, see, I told you. See, they agree with me. It's pretty much like politics, They don't want to look at the other side of the issue. It makes them happy when somebody comes out and says, yeah, this sucks too. And then they come out clapping and cheering. See, this person says it sucks. This is why they have a 55 on Metacritic. Only thing is, they won't come out and say, oh, look at this review score. This site also says it has a 51 out of 100, because it has 8 critics. That's true. But 3 of those 8 critics, reviews don't have scores. Like Jim, Jimquisition. He didn't give it a score. He just said he enjoyed it. But they don't put that into they don't put that to effort, They just want to look at the negative, Like, what about the guy that gave it an 8 out of 10 on PlayStation? Not a word on his review, They don't want to talk about that. They just want to say what was negative. They just want to see what was bad, As long as that's what's there, that makes them happy, and it gives them more fuel to say, see, I can puff my chest out and say this game sucks because this person said it sucked too. But the person over here who says it was good and that they enjoyed it, well, why did you enjoy it? They won't ever say why was it bad to somebody. As long as they say it sucked and I didn't have fun, they're okay. If somebody liked it, they had to have a book or a thesis on why they liked it. Like, tell me why you liked it and I'll tell you why you're wrong. That's kind of how the Sonic fan base is, And then they get mad at Sega for making this game. Like, I hope Sega fails, and I hope Sega never makes any more 3D games. Why can't they just make Mania 2, and tout that as some great game? I'd love a Mania 2, honestly, and not being mean, but you got, Planet Freedom? You got 1,000 Sonic the Hedgehog fan games out there you can go play right now that are literally Sonic Mania, Sonic Mania has more love and effort put into it, but it's basically a fan game. You can go anywhere online and just download some cheap little Sonic fan game and play it. And that's Sonic Mania right there, So, it's a rant, I'm sorry, I'm losing my breath because it's built up so long that it's just annoying and stupid, And one reason it helps too are YouTubers who make it look worse than it actually is. Because you got some YouTubers that will go back and play certain games like Shadow the Hedgehog, and they'll die a lot because either one, they're playing silly, or they're just bad at it. And that helps add on to it, like, man, this game really did suck, Shadow was bad, but it wasn't as bad as some people made it out to be, Growing up and playing it, I can let you know, because I was like in middle school, I believe, when I bought that game. It wasn't as bad as everybody made it out to be, It was bad, but just not that bad. If I can beat the game and get 100%, and after I beat it, be happy with it, and still kept it all these years, it was decent. Now, if I beat a game like Destiny, and when I'm done with it and I'm bored, that's different, And like I said, the Sonic fan base is just so it's I just gotta take a breath for a second, I'm sorry. Because when I get worked up, I just start going off and it doesn't stop. It's like a train. So, hang on. The Sonic fan base would do so much better if they could literally just agree. But I know it will never happen. It's like politics. Both sides want to be right, and no side wants to compromise on anything. It's like I said, there are people who like Mania, and there are people who have wanted this game to fail from day one, and they weren't looking forward to it. There are YouTubers out there who are bigger than me who wanted this game to fail, who didn't care for it at all, and then when it comes out, you act surprised, and people act surprised that they came out and said, oh, This game was either average or wasn't good. Of course you think that, and of course it may be true, but you didn't care for this game from day one. So why give an opinion on it when you know that's all you care? It's like, why buy a car that you hate and didn't care for, drive it around, and then come back home and say, I hate this car, and I didn't really care for it, but it got me to where I wanted to go. But see, the point is, you didn't like the car to start with, If you didn't like it, don't even bother with it, That's the thing about these games that come out nowadays. Yes, you can say a game's bad, you can review it as bad, but don't act like somebody's holding you under a gun saying, I want you to buy this game. It's like Star Wars and loot crates. Nobody's making you buy it. Nobody's telling you to buy loot crates, You don't have to buy them. You can get everything in game. But no, you have to go online and cry like a 12-year-old kid who just lost his puberty, I guess, or something. I don't know. And say EA's evil and EA is horrible for doing this, because they're a business and businesses don't need to make money and all this crap, and it's greedy. It may be, but that's a business and they don't force you to buy it. But then you use the excuse also, well, that means the guy on the other team is going to have an advantage. No. From the beta, I can tell you, unless you just really, really, really suck at any game that offers loot crates, most players will not have an advantage, because people who use loot crates usually, to that extent, are bad. And if you're any type of decent player, you can take them down. There is nothing in that game that you cannot take with good teamwork, take somebody down that's using the card. Unless you're one of those idiots out there who likes running into the firefight, thinking you're going to do good, jumping around, bouncing, the guy kills you and you're like, oh, well, he has better cards than me. No. Usually in most games, unless you're just that bad, you can take somebody out, So, you don't have to buy it. It's like Sonic Forces. Nobody's forcing you, no pun intended, to buy the game. If you didn't care for it, ignore it. Review it, move on. Don't act like it's just something that's going to tear your soul out and send you to hell tomorrow morning. Like I said, not saying that Sonic Forces is good. If I had to give it a honest, die-hard review, because like I said, this is me putting aside all fandom or fanboyism, because I've loved Sonic since I was a kid. I have comics, I have the books, the movie, the soundtracks, shoes, wallets. Putting that all aside, the game, honestly, for me, gets a solid 7. No higher, no lower. Because I won't make it any higher. The reason is, the controls don't take away from the game, but it makes it that much hard for me. Because I come home, I want to play. When I died 2 or 3 times on the stage from simple mistakes, like the homing attack wouldn't lock on to a certain enemy in time, and I drop off into space, that's annoying. That's going to lose points with me right there. The other thing is, the stages are super short, I wish they were bigger, but honestly, how big do you want a stage to be? 7 minutes of dashing? I mean, it loses some points for that, but I'm not going to just kill it for that. Because unless, what do you want? You want an 8-minute stage and you just dashing through it? It's Sonic. He's supposed to go fast. He's supposed to get through a stage in maybe 2 to 3 minutes. There shouldn't be a stage at 6 minutes. It shouldn't be Eggmanland again. Every stage shouldn't be Eggmanland. Because then when it's like that, you complain it's too long. Like, how long do you want it? But, that being said, the game's a solid 7, And of course, I'll probably get comments on this, and of course, probably nobody will watch it, That's how my videos go. If it's Shantae, I get comments. Sonic, other stuff, usually not so much. But if you want to comment, please do. Because I like to talk to people, And I'll try not to argue with anybody. I never usually do, But I enjoy seeing what other people want to say, Like I said, I won't argue if I can help it. There's that one guy that said Shantae was kind of... He was dancing around it, but he was trying to say Shantae was sexist in a way. Like, she was too sexy, and that just kind of made me, just scratch my head in bafflement. But anyway, Just leave a comment below, guys, because it's going on 30 minutes now. This is my longest little ramble. I hope to do more like this, but I want to improve. But, you know, I know my first actual ramble like this is hard. And it's hard being by myself and doing it. I'd love to do like a Skype or Discord chat with other people. But for now, that's my main thoughts on Sonic Forces and the Sonic fandom. If you agree or disagree, let me know, guys. And I'll see you later. I'm going to play some more Forces and some more of my Xbox One X, because this thing is beautiful. But until later, guys, I'll see you. And like I said, would I recommend this game? Honestly, I would recommend it, yes. But only if you didn't have many other games to play. I didn't say any, I said many. Now, if you only have 1 or 2 games here or there, I say pick it up. Try it out for yourself. You know, enjoy it for what it is. It's only $40. If you have any kind of job, you know, you can afford that. You know, and it's $40. If you don't like it, take it back. You know, but it's pretty fun. You know, go on eBay and buy it from one of the guys who hated it so much. You know, but I recommend it. You know, I would say wait for a sale if you wanted to, but the game is not as bad as everybody's as some people, I'll say, not everybody, because PlayStation and like Jim Sterling, they liked it, you know. So I'm not gonna say it's just horrible. It's fun, and I'd say okay, yeah, I recommend it. So go out and buy it if you want to try it, and I'll see you guys next time. I have the Star Wars Midnight Launch next week coming out, and I got a few more videos I'm trying to upload and fix up. But yeah, so until next time, guys, I'll see you.
Yeah.